Hello artists, welcome back to Art at Home with Mrs. Kellogg. Today we are going to be making a collage and we're going to learn about the element of art, shape, and we're going to learn a lot about all the different kinds of shapes you can use when you're creating your collage. So now follow me over to my workspace and I'm going to tell you the materials we're going to use today. So as I said before, today we're going to create a collage, and not just any old collage. We're going to create a robot collage using shapes. Now, you might be wondering, what is a collage? So a collage is when you have a backing, so kind of a heavy paper or cardboard, and you glue paper, or you could glue fabric or photographs to make a piece of art. And that's what a collage is. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, let me tell you about the supplies you're going to need. So since we're going to be tearing paper and we're also going to be cutting paper, you're going to be needing a scissors. So that's really important. So you want to have a scissors. The second thing that you want to have is a glue stick. So that's important. And of course, we're going to need paper. So you can get your paper from a lot of different places. So for example, you can get it from old magazines. You can tear out paper. Maybe you have some old calendar. You can use the calendar pages. Maybe you even have some paper that you've painted that you could use. That's kind of fun to use. And then the other thing, maybe you have some construction paper. And if you have colored construction paper, that's really great. And the other thing you could always use, if you have some old wrapping paper that has fun patterns on it, you could use that as well. Okay, so now the other thing I would probably have close by are some pencils, because you may want to draw your shapes first and then cut them out. And so you need some pencils, an eraser, and if you want a marker, you can have a marker. So for example, on this collage robot, I used a marker for the eyes, and I added some drawings in the background. And this collage robot, on the wheel, I drew some spokes in, and I did that with a marker. So if you want to do that, you can do that. So the last material item that you will need is the backing for your collage robot. So I would recommend cardstock paper, so something a little heavier than your regular paper. And if you don't have that, you can use cardboard, would be fine. Or even if you have some watercolor paper, so a little bit heavier than just a regular paper. And the size of the paper is totally up to you. You could make a giant, use a big paper for your backing and make a big robot, or you could make a small robot. That's up to you. So those are all the materials that you are going to need. And I'm going to have you now pause that video so you can go get your materials, and then I'll meet you back here and we will start collaging. Did you get your materials? Great, then let's get started. So I talked to you about what a collage is and that we're making a robot collage, but one thing that's really important is the element of art that's going to help us make our robot collage, and that element of art is shape. Very important for artists, and we're going to use a lot of different shapes. So we're going to use a lot of geometric shapes in this project. So for example, those math shapes that you study, a circle, you might want to use some circles in your collage. You might want to use a triangle in your collage, an oval, a square, a rectangle, or you might even want to make up your own original shapes. Also, you can use some fun organic shapes. So those are the shapes that have a lot of curves. So you can make a real curvy, fun robot using organic shapes. So the element of art that we're going to focus and learn about today in our art project is shape. Okay, so now let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have your backing. Okay, so I'm going to have that down there first. And I've got my scissors handy and I've got my glue stick. Now, when I make my robot, I can try to think about what kind of robot do I want to have. Do I want a triangle body with a rectangular head? Or maybe I want half of an oval. Or maybe I just really want a lot of rectangles and squares. So again, you decide the kind of robot that you would like. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make the body. Okay, so what I like to do is I'm going to turn over. So here's my calendar page that I'm using. And if you notice, I'm going to just draw a pretty good size shape. And I'm going to use, see how I'm making that big rainbow line? Okay, and then I'm going to draw my line across. So I'm going to kind of have that as the body of of my robot. Okay, so now I'm going to start cutting. And when you cut, it's a good idea to turn your paper as you cut. And I love cutting because it makes my hands nice and strong. And just keep turning, turning, turning as you go. Okay, so now I've got my first piece. Okay, so that's going to be the body on mine. And I'm not going to glue quite yet. I'm just going to lay some things down first. Okay, so I'm going to have that as the body. I feel like I need a little bit more color than that. So that's why it's a good idea. Lay down your shapes first, see if they work for you. And if you want to choose brighter colors, you could look through your paper and see. Now I've got that. Ooh, that's a big body. Okay, so I think I like that better, so I'm gonna use that. Cutting an oval in half, I made these big, round, funny feet. So see how my robot's starting to come together. So I cut my shapes, and then I place them down, and I look for some fun colors. When I think of arms and legs, I think of skinny rectangles. So I'm going to cut out some long, skinny papers. I'll just show you how you can get the arms in action. This is kind of fun. So look, I can tuck one here, and I can leave it like that. Or look, I can attach another arm, and then I've got the arm in motion. Okay, so I can tuck one here, and notice I haven't glued anything yet. So see, now I'm gonna have this one, maybe they're doing a dance move. So that's kind of fun. See how I can use two rectangles and I can get them dancing. And then for the legs, another rectangle. And notice I'm repeating colors. I notice kind of this pink color in here. So I'm thinking I've placed everything down. I haven't glued it yet. I'm seeing if I like it and I can change things. So one thing I wanted to show you that's kind of fun. If you notice, I used two rectangles for this one leg. So that's one rectangle, and then this is two. And when I do that, I can make the leg look like it's in motion. So see how I bent the leg? And if I want, I can even make these feet smaller, but I kind of like them looking funny and big. Now for the hands, a lot of times I'll just use little rectangles. So see how we're using shape? So this is a half of an oval, rectangle, rectangle, lots of rectangles. And then this is a half oval cut in two. And for the eyes, see I have a rectangle here. I could even just cut those in two, or I could make circles. So it's really up to you. Now you look at your collage after you lay it out, and then if you're happy with it, you start gluing. That's how you can create your robot collage. That's our collage lesson, and how to use that really important element of art, shape, in our artwork. I hope you had a lot of fun and enjoyed the lesson. One thing I want you to always remember when you're creating art is to relax. And as I said before, have fun and keep creating.